The Great Divide. Was it always going to be this way? I've speculated for many a decade now about how they managed to keep people divided and at odds with each other. But let's be honest, they don't need to do an awful lot for it to happen. We naturally seem prepared as a group and sometimes as individuals to jump to conclusions, be influenced by others, or just led astray. So when I factor in the amount of pressure, encouragement and downright manipulation for that to have occurred recently, I knew we never stood a chance. It's not hard to fuel the flames of hatred. We are seeing very real examples of this daily now, and make no mistake, it is hatred. Being born, bred and nurtured so that people won't just fear their fellow man, they will come to hate them. It's being done so obviously, yet not everyone can see it. People are much easier to control and influence if they are shut off from or distanced from their usual routine, friends and family. Add to that the rollout of Project Fear last year through constant and inaccurate reporting and propaganda. Daily briefings to overtake people's lives, activities and thoughts, steering them to where they wanted them to go. All I can presume is that they really do want people hating each other and themselves, because while they are doing all these strategic things in society and to people, they are painting themselves as the one who can bring you stability, comfort and care. They don't though, they just say they can, and that seems to be enough for most people. But if you point out that they haven't, and don't, they blame and vilify you, because a downbeaten population who are afraid of themselves and who they are aren't going to say boo to a goose, as the saying goes. It is to their advantage for us all to be squabbling amongst ourselves, which is why they have created the issues we see today. We have always been divided to a point in this country. We have had a class system for quite some time. We have had a social credit system already, social security, and all sorts of systems and rules to separate us out. Intelligence standards, an education curriculum, exams, all to separate and divide into sections and data. It just wasn't being used so obviously against us before now. They appeared to be systems to help us, but now it is being used against us. I have gone into the idea of how far it wants to go in my previous article, Monitoring. We appear to be going into a new era where they don't want people having fun, enjoyment, good health or freedom. They want them to be hooked on their drugs and hooked up to their digital plan. And if you can get your head around that bit, we need to be asking the very serious question of why. Next to all my logical, well thought out theories and ideas, there are still some very unpolished, rather outrageous ones, which despite me trying to throw them out or dismiss them, persist. So I will go on a wild speculation here, with absolutely nothing else to go on other than a feeling and an idea. I'll try and word it so that it makes sense. I was going to do another movie post to help cover another aspect of this idea, but it may as well be here instead. Brace yourselves. Maybe the energy generated by thoughts and feelings can be harnessed and amplified. If they were able to do it, they would need everyone's energy and thought directed towards one thing, which wouldn't have been previously possible without the internet and media being so widely distributed and controlled. They would also need a group or shared event that could be used. So, you have everyone focused on one thing, feeding the machine, which in turn generates its own bad energy, amplifying the result. A few movies spring to mind here to help with the idea. Dark City, 1998. There is a machine powering the changes and modifications, which is activated by thought. Batman Forever, 1995. There is an invention that attaches to the television set, showing the energy being sucked from the people's heads into the receiver, then being fed back to the central feed. Tomorrowland, 2015. A machine used to create doom imagery, which then amplifies the negative thoughts and feelings, making it a loop of self-fulfilling doom. Those three were the main films for that type of thought machine. There are other films which cross over perhaps, but they are about stealing thoughts, feelings, fears and dreams, usually to feed something. The Dark Crystal, 1982. Behind all the puppets, some of which are terrifying, there is an undertone of energy, crystals and of evil draining the life essence from drones/slaves. The City of Lost Children, 1995. Children are kidnapped to then have their dreams extracted through a machine to stop premature aging. Dark Tower, 2017. Another one abducting children to use their power to feed something. Monsters Inc., 2001. I was quite disturbed by this one. Seemed colourful and friendly on the face of it, but had a sinister tone with the machine for stealing children's screams, again, to power a machine. I told you it was pretty out there, but what if they do know how to, or have worked out how to harness our collective energy or thoughts, and it feeds our own destruction? All made possible with the World Wide Web. Remember, things get caught in webs. And now they are pushing with increasing desperation the digital passes and IDs, wanting everyone in a central database to then be able to dictate who, what, where, when and how. They don't want us to be human beings anymore. We will be human doings, because it will be our output that will be monitored more than it already is. It started with trying to make you aware of your consumption, your carbon footprint, your wastage. But really what they seem to be interested in is what you are, not what you do or how much you use. And because I think the way I do, I cannot help thinking it is for rather nefarious purposes. Another article is needed for that wandering though. It's been with me for quite some time and it's the most disturbing of all, so I have been reluctant to share it in its entirety, but I think the time is coming to share that one too. That article will be called Perhaps.